This is the ultimate Natro macro guide in the Swarm Simulator. I'll cover every setting available. There's a lot of them, but I'll begin with the macros installation itself. Timestamps are in the description, yet I'd suggest watching everything to master this software. Besides that, every link I visit throughout the video will be in order in the description, including Natro's Discord link. You can skip these role pickers, it's not necessary. Then you'll get a message from Block's link. Click this verification link, sign in. Authorize Block's link with your Discord account, press on your profile and you should see Natro's Discord server here. Go back to the Discord and click Verify with Block's link. After this you will be granted access to channels that have all of the Natro versions. Simply click the direct download button. The macro will come in your downloads folder in a zip file format, so you'll need to extract it. If you don't have any extracting softwares, right-click, open with Windows Explorer. This is the folder you'll always be opening when you'd like to macro, so I'll drag it to desktop. If you do have an extracting app, right-click, extract here, and boom. To run the macro, open the start.bat file. If it's your first time doing this, you'll probably get this pop-up. Uncheck this box and click Run. Before we go over every Natro setting and customize them, we need to make sure our Windows settings are correct, otherwise you'll run into some problems. Type settings into your search bar. System. Make sure this is set to 100%. Now before we get into the Gather tab, click the Settings tab. If these settings are wrong, the macro will also not function. Select the hive slot which you've claimed, 1 being right next to the cannon, and 6 is the furthest away. Write the number of bees you have. Make this 0. If you're playing in a VIP server, paste the link here. For the join method, choose deep link since the macro itself says it's faster. Here you can enable auto rejoin at a specific time. This is great if you want to reset your VIP server and lag. Usually you want to do it at least once every 24 hours. Make sure fallback to public server is enabled. It makes it so if for some reason your VIP server link stops working, the macro will join a public server. Movement speed is important. Go into your Swarm settings tab, scroll down until you find move speed, and write the value you see in the macro. Make sure you don't have any haste tokens, bear morphs, oils, and any other buffs that give extra movement speed. For me, it's 29.9. Also turn on move speed correction. This will detect your active movement buffs and calculate how much the macro has to adjust its paths. Move method should be canon unless you don't have it unlocked. Choose the sprinkler you have. Choose when you want to convert your balloon. I'd set it to always if you're starting out, but if I'm macroing for honey, gather is what I have it set to. These two settings are completely useless. If you weren't aware, some time ago if you reset twice in a row, all of your bees would gain its energy back, meaning they would take a lot longer to get tired and sleep. Now this feature has been removed, so uncheck this and have the slider all the way to the left. If you don't want to swing your tool when macroing, turn this setting on. The only situation I could think of is if this is your alt account. It would make sense because you want your alt accounts to stay in the field as long as possible. The box under tool disabling tells the whole server where your guiding star is, although it warns you that you could get banned for spamming the chat. Up to you. 1 out of the 9 tabs are done. Now we can go to the first one, Gather tab. Let me speed run every button here before going into some advanced stuff, because if you're not aware what every setting does, you won't understand what you're actually changing. This clipboard saves the current field setting you have, so if you mess with some stuff and you like what you created, this is the button to save it. Drift compensation makes it so the macro will realign your character to your sprinkler and make it impossible to accidentally run out of the field you're gathering in. And this only applies if you own the Supreme Saturator. Otherwise, have this off. Gathering with shift lock is beneficial if you're a blue hive. With either the Tide Popper or the Petal Wand, having this on will make popping bubbles easier. Invert options will swap the forward and backward or the left and right moves while gathering. Camera rotation can be selected to left or right. This number means the amount of times the macro will rotate the camera the direction you picked. Left being the comma and right is the dot. The time you spend in the field depends on what your goal is. You should know that blue is the only hive color that's good at macroing for honey. If you're a blue hive, your gather time should be 10 minutes at most. If you're macroing in the field for fruits, the gathering time should be longer. I'd say 20 minutes or more. Now the return to hive should almost always be walk if you're farming for honey, and reset if doing other tasks. Sprinkler location allows you to customize the direction and distance it will be placed from your original landing point. I won't provide the best combinations of that, but if you don't know what you're doing, either leave it as default or set it to center and 1. The only settings I haven't talked about are pattern, length and width since they all go together. What do you do with all of this info? If you don't own the Supreme Star Amulet, please don't change the default field settings as the macro creators have literally designed these for early game players. If you've already configured some options here and you'd like to reset to the traditional, pre-installed settings, go to the Settings tab and click Reset Field Defaults. This is an image I found on Discord with apparently the best patterns for every field without the Supreme Saturator. as I'm a level 21 hive. I can't comment on this. But let me know if you approve this or not. If you own the best sprinkler in game, you can start thinking about changing some settings around, and I once again have a photo with the evidently best patterns. I'd like to hear your opinion on these as well, but if you'd like to improve your gather tab even more, I will showcase you how to get custom paths and patterns that aren't provided by the default software. Again, patterns are the movements the macro will do in the field. To get a custom one that's not provided here, you must join the Bee Swarm Guide Help Discord server. In this thread you'll only find pine tree paths and patterns. Usually the most up-to-date patterns will be the most liked ones. One of the most popular ones is kettle. I'm not sure about other fields. Maybe you can locate some by pressing Ctrl F for this search bar. Now write the field's name you'd like to locate, and perhaps it will be there. If you do locate the field and its AHK file, download it, drag it into your Natro folder and into patterns. Now alongside the AHK file there will be the pattern settings itself written like this. Find this button in the top right, click it to copy the settings. Go back to Natro and press this button which will paste the settings. And save the settings with this button. For paths it's a bit different. There are two types of paths, GTF which stands for go to field and WF which is walk from. Let's say that after filling up my bag in the pine tree, instead of returning to my hive the default way, which is going up to polar bear, I'd like the macro to use the blue cannon, which is actually faster. This is the walk from path I have to download. Drag it into your Natro folder and into paths. Replace the file. If you for some reason don't like the new path and want to go back to the default one, the easiest way to do that is by downloading a brand new Natro macro again, which will have the default paths. Go into the paths and replace the original one with the one you dislike. That's the whole gather tab. Now let's go to the collect kill tab. As the name says, you'll be collecting stuff here. I won't be talking about these options because they're self-explanatory. I will still mention these two options despite what I said. You need to have the wealth clock and glue checked. Why wouldn't you? Wealth clock is free tickets. Glue dispenser is free glue. The Mondo setting has two options, either buff or kill. Buff requires you to set a time how long you'll damage the mob for. This is useful while macroing with others, because once everyone in the server attacks Mondo, sometime later you'll get the buff despite the low time spent damaging it. On the other hand, the kill option will make your character stay in the field until it's dead, and this is the path the macro will take after killing it. If you're playing with others, try to have different paths so you don't steal each other's loot. This makes the macro automatically craft stuff in the blender. The box on top indicates how many times you want the process to happen, and this chooses how many items at a time will be crafted. There are 4 memory matches. The normal one is next to the pineapple shop. Mega is in the sprinkler shop building. Night is next to BBM, and the extreme one is next to Spirit Bear. Out of this list you want to pick items you don't want to be collected if the macro has a chance to match it. Gather interruption makes it so the software cancels whatever it's doing to go loot memory matches. Kill tab is next. Let's first start with monster respawn time. There are 3 ways to decrease it, so if you have any of these items, calculate the sum yourself and type it here. If you want to kill a specific mob, check it here. If you also want its loot, enable the loot box. If you desire to kill every mob for tickets and other resources, check select all alongside gather interrupt. Keep in mind that killing mobs will make you no honey, but lots of other items. If you want to farm up to 100 stingers per day, then enable kill vicious bee and select every field. Well, that's what I would like to say. However, at the time of me recording this, the vicious tab doesn't actually work. But perhaps it has been fixed when you're watching this video. Now the bosses. Having baby love checked will make the macro stand still outside the boss spawn area until it will have the baby love buff for better drops. If you defeat a king beetle and get a king beetle amulet, you can either set it to automatically keep the old one or do nothing and leave it on screen, and wait for you to decide whether to keep or replace the amulet. Same goes with the stump amulet. Type the amount of HP your mob you're trying to kill has to make the macro's life easier. This is the amount of time the macro will spend at attacking the mob. Having it set to kill will cancel any other functions and solely focus on attacking. Boost tab, you can select what boosters you want the macro to activate. Having multiple in a row is the order the macro will claim them. This is the time it will separate each boost activation. The default is 15 minutes, because this is how long the field boost lasts for. If you want to farm in the field you boosted in, check this, and if you want to choose certain fields, click this box, and select your desired fields here. You can also make it so the macro uses resources while farming. For example, you can put a blue extract into your second slot and choose gathering every 10 minutes. This will make it so whenever you start to gather pollen, the macro will use the blue extract in your second slot every 10 minutes. If I want to use enzymes when converting at my hive, I can put enzymes into my third slot and choose enzymes. But this will use many resources, and if you don't have thousands of them, this option isn't worth it. You can also donate to the Wind Shrine. It's very similar to the Blender option. This box shows how many times the Wind Shrine donation action will be repeated, while the second box indicates how many items will be donated. Sticker Stack is an underrated buff that many people forget. You can either activate it only by using tickets, which can get expensive, or you can swap this to Sticker, which will donate stickers instead of tickets. If you don't want the macro to donate valuable hives, cubs, or vouchers, don't check these boxes and it will ignore those rare stickers. The last option is combining these two previous settings. Once you run out of stickers, the macro will switch to tickets. The last boost option is Auto Field Boost. I left it as last for a reason, and the only situation where you want to use this is during Honey Day as a blue hive. This makes the macro be able to have a 4x Pine Tree boost at all times with the help of the Field Booster, Field Dices, and Glitter. As a disclaimer, this will use an insane amount of resources. During a Honey Day a year ago, this is how much of glitter and dice I consumed in 48 hours. So, if you're sure you want this enabled, turn this on. Set this to 12.5 minutes, enable dice and glitter and match the slots with your in-game slots. Don't enable the free field booster but have it on in the normal boost tab. Have these set to none. Having these options won't be enough to make this to work. It's broken as the macro didn't convert for 30 minutes, and in order to fix it, go to the Bee Swarm Guide Help Discord, Knowledge Base, search AFB, copy this code, go to your Natro folder, sub-macros, find Natro macro, right-click, edit script, select Notepad, edit, find, paste the code you copied. It should locate the code. Select what I do. Now go back to Discord, copy the bigger box, and replace it. Also press enter and write this symbol. Go up to File and save your modifications. The Auto Field Boost should work now, and that's the whole Boost tab. The Quest tab is straightforward. Pick which NPC's quests you want to farm. As a side note, Black Bear's quests are only for the repeatable quests after you've completed every quest line. Here you can select how long the character will farm in a field for, and I'd recommend to always reset because you aren't farming for honey. If you want to enable the Boost tab I already talked about, enable this box, Planters tab. You can either have them completely off, use manual planter cycling or auto planters. Let's begin with manual. I believe this option is better if you have every planter until the pesticide one and want to maintain all 5 nectars. I personally don't have a wax planter cycle, but by going to the Bee Swarm Guide Help Discord server, Knowledge Base, searching planter, you can copy these settings. Even though this message is basically 2 years old, I stand that it's not outdated. I personally have this set to auto since I own every planter in the game. Select your hive color and set every percentage to 90 or high 80s. Set this to 3. Pick every field except mountaintop and coconut. If you want to have all 5 nectars, set this to auto. If you want the planter to grow to 100% and get good loot from it, choose full grown. Speaking about loot, have this on to claim the planter loot. If you also want to not lose the pollen you gain from the planter you harvest, check this so you convert your bag instead of resetting. Having this box checked ignores your gather tab completely and farms in the fields your planters are planted in, which is great to quickly get your nectar up. However, it will make you less honey. The option below does the opposite. It force plants a planter in the field you're gathering in, so you still gain nectar fast but also get tons of honey. This option surprisingly is more harming rather than useful, because the Natro will mistake the planter in the field as a sprinkler and the drift compensation will make you run out of the field a lot. This is why you'll often see people request to have this option off. Pressing F5 will bring up the planter's timer tab. It will most likely be empty, which is what you want when starting the macro. However, if you already have some planters planted and don't want to harvest them, click Add and match this to your game. Using the Bee Swarm wiki, find out how long it takes for your planter to fully grow, and doing some simple math, calculate the harvest time. If your planters for some reason break, meaning the macro won't find them, press F5 and click the clear button on every planter, and harvest all of your planters in game. And if the max planters amount has changed, set it to what it was set to previously, 3 for me. Now your planters won't be broken, and that's the planters tab. Let's move on to the status tab. It's used to monitor your macro and have these graphs which are useful to know if your macro works properly, and you can even control your macro remotely with your phone. Initially, let's get the hourly charts out of the way. Click Change Discord Settings. Now go to Discord. You need to have your own Discord server. If you don't have a server, click this plus button. Create my own. Choose your server name. Click Create. Now click this gear icon, Integrations. Create webhook. Click this arrow. Copy webhook URL. Go back to the macros Discord settings, and click the second button to paste the link. You can enable screenshots, however I personally don't have this enabled. What I do have enabled is user pings. For this to work, you first need to go into Discord settings. Scroll all the way to the bottom where you'll find advanced. Enable developer mode. Now write a message in your channel. Right-click your profile picture and click Copy User ID. Go back to your macro and press the Paste button. Now choose when you want to be pinged. If we exit out of this and start the macro, we should get messages in the Discord channel. We can take it a step further by going back to the webhook settings and clicking this Discord logo. You'll be required to paste in a bot token. To get one's link, visit discord.com on your web browser. Click Developers. Get started. New application. Think of any name for your bot. Accept the terms and click Create. Press Bot on the left side. Scroll down and check this box. Now reset your bot's token. Don't share this token to anyone, and I've reset my token since. Copy it. To obtain channel IDs, make sure you're in developers mode. Right-click on the channel to copy the ID and paste it in. Now go back to your browser. Installation. Scroll until you'll notice Guild Install. Click this down arrow and select Bot. Now a Permissions tab will pop up. You'll need to add these commands: attach files, embed links, read message history, send messages, and view channels. Save your changes. Scroll up and copy this installation link, and paste it in a new web tab. Continue Discord. Add to server. Select your server you want to add it in. Authorize. Now if we go back to Discord, you should see the bot on the right-hand side, meaning you did everything correctly. Write $help and the bot will provide every command it can do. I won't go over any of the commands and how they work, as the help function has already told us that. But now you have the ability to control your Natro macro from other devices remotely. The status tab is complete. The settings tab was the first one I mentioned, so it's time for miscellaneous. Before anything else, let's knock out this column. These 3 buttons bring you to Excel sheets of various topics. The top one is the ticket shop calculator. To actually use any of the Excel spreadsheets, click File, make a copy, and make a copy. Now go to the ticket shop, and enter one of the ticket prices into the appropriate space, and it's accurate with the price. The Supreme Star Amulet calculator estimates how much you'll spend for an SSA with the stats you desire. Check the boxes of which passives you want. I'll choose Pop and Star Shower. Now check the stats you'd like and lastly write the percentage of each stat. For instance, let's have my current SSA stats as the input. Let's adjust this column to see the cost. Maybe this is a bit inaccurate, or I had ridiculous luck. The final Excel chart is bond for leveling bees. Make sure to match your Moon Amulet stats here, and if you have a gifted puppy bee or not. To illustrate this tool, if I urge a level 12 hive, I'll type 12 here and write how many bees I have, 45 in this case. And the Excel will output the cost, which is very practical. Next, let's go to the gifted basic bee hatcher. As the name tells us, this is used when you're in need of that bee. To enable this, press the setting. Click OK. Again, now carefully click on the slot you want the gifted basic to be in, and let the macro do its thing. Oh, and don't have any royal jelly settings like this. If you want to exit out, either press right click or the shift key. The feature below automatically feeds bitter berries to your bees. What you don't want to do is enable this without feeding any neon berries to them. The chance of a bee obtaining a mutation without a neon berry is 1 in 1,000, and if you do give it a single green fruit, it's now 1 in 100. Type how many bitter berries a time you want the macro to feed the bees. I do 33. When the macro gets a mutation, you'll have to decide whether to keep it or not. The exit out settings are the same as the previous tools. And one last side note, I would suggest to use this feature only for mythic and event bees, as the last tools we're going to cover is the auto jelly. A less expensive way to get mutations on bees is with royal jellies. Firstly, feed a neon berry to a bee and enable require mutation in your royal jelly settings. Let's say I want any bee with the ability rate mutation. When I click roll, it will do that until it succeeds, and if you want to stop the macro, press escape. We will be pressing a lot more buttons for this automation. It's to create images like this. The macro will scan your current bees in the hive. Join the MetaBee Discord server. The link's very long. Make sure the first option is checked. And we don't really care about the remaining buttons. Now press check out our hive building bot and you have to wait 10 minutes. Now when you gain access to the channel, write /help for all the commands and navigate from there. Since I want this image of my hive, I'll write /hive create and /hive import. Paste your code in. To view your hive, write /hive view. This small box below lets you customize Natro's auto clicker. Yes, Natro does actually have a built-in auto clicker. To start using it, press F4. If you wish to increase the time between clicks, increase this number here, which is in milliseconds, and don't mess with the click duration time. If you dislike the auto clicker F4 hotkey or any other hotkeys, Choose a key which you rarely use and you won't activate or stop the macro on accident. This setting allows you to view logs, which are commands that your macro does. Is the same as your webhook. Now it's night announcement. Think of any name. Copy your webhook URL, I've already shown you this. Now paste in your user's ID, which would be dumb. Why would you want to ping yourself to know if it's nighttime? It's better to ping multiple people. To accomplish this, click on your Discord server's name, server settings, roles, create a role, label it, save your changes, write the ampersand symbol, grant this role to whichever users you want to be added, right-click, copy role ID, and paste it in. For some reason this feature doesn't work for me. However, this is how it should look. And the concluding setting in the miscellaneous tab is invisible because it's actually an extension. I'm talking about TAD Sync. What TAD Sync does is whenever your main account uses a blue field booster, it alerts all the other accounts to go to the boosted field. This setting is handy if you want to increase your hourly honey making and not waste the blue field booster if it doesn't yield you pine tree. This option is for very late blue hives. I'm talking level 19 and above. You're also demanded at least one alt account. You can add another alt account, but I'll showcase you how to set up TAD Sync for 2 accounts, your main and alt. For this you will have to connect to 2 remote desktop users. I have an RDP tutorial on my channel, so either check it out to learn the setup or watch this without understanding anything. Visit this GitHub page and download the Natro extension zip. Extract it to your desktop. Now open your main Natro folder and select the paths, patterns and settings folders. Copy them. Open the extensions file and paste. Replace. This is so you can skip the macro setup on the extension macro. Close everything. Zip up the Natro extension with your new replaced files and copy it. Copy the extension folder and paste them into your other user desktops which you connected to with remote desktop. Unfortunately it doesn't let me do that, so instead I have to go to my Discord server, send this zip here, then switch to the other users, download the zip and extract it, whichever way you choose to do this. At the end you'll successfully have transferred the Natro extension with the TAD Sync feature. Open the new Natro, click Never, or else you won't see the field following option in the miscellaneous tab. Now go to status, change Discord settings, click the Discord logo. We need to set up the bot. I've already showed you how to do that, but it will get confusing, so I'll showcase it once again. We need to set up the amount of bots based on how many total accounts we've got. It's either a main account with a single alt or 2 of them. This time I'll do 2 accounts, so I'll repeat this process twice. You'll need to go to Discord, Developer, Get Started, New Application. I'll name them account main and account alt respectfully. Click bot. Enable message content intent. Reset the bot's token. Paste the main account bot's token into the main user's Natro and the alt bot's code into the second user. Open Discord. Create a channel for each account. Go into Discord settings, make sure developer mode is on. Copy your main channel's ID and paste it into your main user. Do the same with the alt channel and the alt remote desktop account. Go to your browser, installation, guild install, bot, and grant both bots these 5 commands. Copy the installation link and invite both bots to your Discord server. To test out if everything worked, go to your main account's channel and type $help. The main bot should reply, and only the alt bot should reply in the secondary channel. Create a third channel. Copy its ID. Let's wrap up the main account. Go to the miscellaneous tab, field following, enable it. Choose leader and paste the third channel's ID here. Now let's finish the alt account. This time pick follower and write 900 because this is how long the blue boost lasts for. Let's see the TAD Sync in action. The main account uses the blue booster. It gets pine and the alt account instantly resets and goes there. If the main account would roll pine and the alt also has pine set in their gather tab, the alt wouldn't do anything and keep farming there. I purposely didn't farm in a blue field in this example so it would reset no matter what, and you could see the function working. Lastly, there are optimal patterns for alts while using TAD Sync. Visit Natro's Discord, find the patterns forum, search for Dolly. I've already informed you how to set up custom patterns, so that's the whole of Natro done. Now that you've set up everything, subscribe if you found this useful, and you can watch this remote desktop video to be able to macro in the background.